It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
Hello everybody, it's Joe here and welcome back once again to my F1 24 career mode, and we're now entering the final few races of Season 4. We are at Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix and we are here doing sprint qualifying. Well, it's been a mixed season. There have been some good moments, there's been some bad moments, there's been some very lucky moments. And I feel like we've made some really positive strides with the car throughout this season. Although we hit rock bottom at the Dutch Grand Prix when we were fighting for last with our teammate Behrman, and then we had a collision. That didn't paint us in glory, but since then the trajectory has been upwards. We had a podium in Monza and we've been there or thereabouts, and that is where we want to be. We've thrown some final upgrades on for the season, so I'm hoping that it'll help us move forwards. And as we complete this lap, this is looking very, very positive for us, because we are in the top 10 and we qualify in P9, and I feel like that has been our Achilles heel throughout this season, our qualifying. But to qualify for this sprint race in P9, to me that's a huge positive, and that is a huge step in the right direction, and we're only half a tenth off of Lewis Hamilton going into the sprint race.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7 mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton, Joker, Gasly, Leclerc, Stroll, Ocon, Sainz, Tsunoda, Albon, Behrman, Hulkenberg, Joe, Sargent, Ricciardo, and Zayn Maloney. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me here today in the commentary box, Anthony.
We've got a good chance of matching our results from the last race here. Let's make sure we get the result we deserve.
12 laps are ahead of us in this Brazilian sprint race. What can we do? We are underway here. It's not a very strong start from us, but Verstappen not getting away particularly well either. There may be an opportunity to go down the inside of turn 1, but we're blocked off by Hamilton. Piastri went very wide into the centre S. They're 3 wide there. Verstappen getting backed up. I got backed up. Verstappen banging wheels with us. We nearly lose it, but we're up into P8, into the points. Having to cover off Verstappen though, because he's having a look up the inside, and Verstappen trying to force his car. You know Verstappen, if he sees a chance, he is going to send it, but we're not allowing Max the opportunity to send it here. And we're up into the points, and I'm trying to get after Lewis Hamilton, although giving him a little love tap there is not going to help anything as we come to the end of lap 2. The two McLarens, 5th and 6th, they're not really having a great day so far, gotta be said. And now out of Youngsao we go. I'm trying to set it up so we can attack Lewis Hamilton and get P7 and start moving forwards. And look at the run we're starting to build here. Hamilton getting ever closer as Russell sets the fastest lap. We're having a look to the inside, and Lewis Hamilton is just caught napping a little bit here as we just send it straight down the inside. Nothing Lewis could do there. Just not really awake. If anything, he just did not see us coming, and Hamilton down into P8. But next time round, as Piastri sets the fastest lap, look at the speed Hamilton carries as he gets back past us. We didn't have a chance there. And again, Verstappen just forcing his car up the inside, but there's no way through there for the Dutchman as we now approach the 7-time world champion to have another look. We're going to have a look down the inside here, but unfortunately we've just outbraked ourselves there and gone hideously deep. That allows Hamilton back through, and Verstappen and Leclerc just waiting in the wings now, waiting and hoping that it goes wrong for me, because if it does go wrong, they can capitalise, they can pounce, they can pick up the spoils, as we now have another look down the inside of Hamilton. That's such a late lunge. I don't know how that worked without a collision. So late on the brakes there, such confidence we're putting in our fellow competitor to not turn in and wipe us out. But Hamilton, next DRS straight, he's sending it down the inside again. It's not going to be easy to beat Lewis here. He is making it very, very difficult. And the cars in front of us are starting to really break away, which is not what I want to do. I want to be in the main fight, but we're not going to be in the main fight while we're fighting Lewis. Verstappen trying to come at me, but we've got enough of a gap to Max to prevent that, and we're going for another late lunge down the ZRS. This time, however, Hamilton's ready, and he goes for the up and under. We're side by side round the long turn 3, but this time I've got DRS. Hamilton doesn't, but he's still got great speed down the straight in that Ferrari. I'm braking late, and Hamilton and Verstappen now having a battle, and it's worked out in favour of Lewis at the moment. Verstappen thinking he sensed an opportunity, but no opportunity existed at that time. Look at Hamilton though, coming back at us down the inside. That's a great move by Hamilton. He's not letting this go at all. And this is such a massive fight with Lulu as we now head to Yungsao once again. But I really just want to get past this Ferrari. I am sick of studying the rear wing of a Ferrari. If I wanted to study it, I'd still be driving for Ferrari. Last time I was in that car, I was winning championships. What are you doing, Lewis? Anyway, now we're heading to Hamilton once again, and we're going to go down the inside. Hamilton ready for me this time, but I force it to the inside still. Hamilton, again, he was so ready for me there, but it's okay, because now I can set it up into turn 4. Down the straight we go. Hamilton, not really with much to defend with, but he does defend anyway. We're going to try and sweep round the outside. Hamilton holding on. Hamilton getting a bit wobbly though, but Lewis still holding the position. Now going defensive. Is there a way to up and under there? No, there is not. Is there a way to brake later here? Yes, there is, but I've gone straight on. And Hamilton says thank you very much. Verstappen waiting for an opportunity too. But this time we're down the inside of Hamilton. And we've got the move done once again. Perez is in front with a car that is limping. We've heard on the radio that Perez has some kind of mechanical issue. So the question is, if we can stop fighting Lewis for a while, can we catch Perez? That is the aim here. Meanwhile, we're watching Max Verstappen. What's Max done? He's just gone straight on and decided that the corner doesn't exist. And he's dropped 2 places doing that. As we head to the last lap, unfortunately, we were not able to catch Perez, and we've spent more time defending the cars behind. But still, P7 in the sprint, that's a couple of points. I'm not going to shake my head too much at that. It's a good start to the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend. Fernando Alonso winning the sprint for Aston Martin. Alonso really on the ball at the moment. As we head out of Yungsao, it's P7 in the sprint. And I tell you what, this gives me confidence that we can nab some points in the feature. Hamilton having a go there, but just not quite able to get alongside in time.
Well, that's an end to the sprint.
So there are your results from this sprint race. Alonso beats Norris, Russell third, Piastri and Bottas 4th and 5th, Perez 6th, we get 7th, and Lewis Hamilton completing the points finishes in 8th. Then it's Leclerc and Verstappen 9th and 10th, just missing out on points for the sprint. Unlucky for them, but great for us.
Fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
But that was only the sprint. This is the main event, and once again we have a one-shot qualifying lap ahead of us and one chance to get a good grid position for the Grand Prix. Not so bad through the Centre S, but I feel like we left a little bit on the table there and we could have been a little bit quicker. Touching the grass there is not helping us either, and as such it's not been a strong first sector. Pretty decent round there, but again I feel like we've left something on the table. So far I think 2, maybe 3 tenths have been left on the table, but that was decent there, and we just missing the apex. It's not a very strong lap from us, it's actually quite the opposite. I'm really not proud of this lap, and I feel like we really have just left bits of time on the table here and there. I feel like we could be at least half a second up at this point now on where we're at. But as we head up the hill, out of Yungsao, it is what it is now. We've just got to deal with where we get put on the grid. But it's a miserable qualifying session for us. And I really feel like I said, we left bits of time on the table up to about half a second. But it happens. But we had a really strong qualifying in the sprint, and the pace was strong there too. So I'm still confident that we can bring home some good points from this race weekend. It's just frustrating when I know we had more in qualifying, and in fact Behrman has out-qualified us. So Ollie in P17 out-qualifying us, and that half a second we had would have put us in the top 10.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his 3rd championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7 miles. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Gasly, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Stroll, Hülkenberg, Behrman, Norris, Joker, Sargent, Joe, Ricciardo, Maloney, Albon, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. And alongside me today, a man who I'm always pleased to see join me in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them? Well,
it's going to be a struggle to match our last result, but let's see what you can do.
A couple of positions gained from penalties. We're in P16 here for this Brazilian Grand Prix, and we're underway, and it's not too bad of a start, but I feel like Norris really got a brilliant getaway there, moving up into P12. We're looking down the inside of Sargent and gaining a place there. Next up is Oliver Behrman, and Norris, dropping to P13. I thought he'd gotten ahead of Stroll, but it turns out Stroll gets him back. We're now down the inside of our teammate and having a look at Lando Norris. Norris going a bit deep, and again we're still using that to try and have a go. Side by side here, round the outside, sweeping around Lando Norris to take P13. And now I'm sitting back behind Stroll and Verstappen, and it's just a case of biding my time, but already up 3 places and up into 13th place. I will happily take that start as we have a cheeky little look down the inside of Lance Stroll, but there's nothing in doing in that. Lap 2, Lando Norris all over me at the moment, and Stroll a little bit further ahead. Norris really wanting a go. I feel like Lando's got some great pace in this Grand Prix this afternoon, but at the moment we're just doing our own race, we're thinking of our own battles, and right now we're trying to catch Lance Stroll for P12 using overtake at our disposal, although we've not really used it until the DRS line, because that's when it's the most powerful. As we head down the straight, are we going to be able to send it down the centre S? That's a very late send, and that's really not worked at all. That has not worked at all. We've got across the grass, and we're losing the place once again to Lando Norris. Norris just happy to get the place, but now we're using the DRS to attack him back. Round the outside we go. Are we completing the overtake? No. Norris keeps the position, and Lando is not in the mood to be messed with this afternoon. And as I'm trying to get back after the Mercedes, and we go a little bit wide. Ooh, that was a little bit of a desperate look there, and we're a little bit stuck in P14 at the moment. But however, we've got a very late send, coupled by the fact that I think Norris went completely deep. I don't know if I went deep in sympathy, but there's Lando locking up, and I almost sort of followed him off. Wow, yeah. It's like Lando went wide. I didn't really register where he went, and I went with him, but I went ahead of him. So, I don't know, make that make sense. Anyway, back on the rear of Lance Stroll. This is for P12 now, and we're using everything at our disposal to try and displace the Aston Martin, but Stroll is holding position very nicely. Down the inside we go, however, and this time, can we make no? But although we don't go completely off the circuit this time, so that's growth right there. That's improvement right there. This time round, however, it's lap 11, and I'm getting a little bit sick of being in this train. We're going to send it down the inside of Stroll, and this time, I think we've got the move done. We are ahead of Sir Lancelot, moving into P12. And next up, we've got Sainz and Verstappen in the Williams and Red Bull respectively, as we give Verstappen a bit of a love tap, and hopefully we haven't damaged our wing in doing it. Ending the lap and heading round Yunsao. Sainz in P10 doing a very nice job for Williams, as we now head up the hill using overtake, preparing for an attack on the Dutch driver, who is out of the points at the moment, surprisingly for him. He covers the inside, I'm going to the outside, going to try and sweep round, and Charles Leclerc is having a go at Tsunoda as well. We might be able to get one or two of the VCARB cars while they're backed up, but it's not happening here. Sainz and Tsunoda, however, having a go, and it's not the VCARB cars, so it's the Williams. What am I talking about? Honestly, what am I chatting? Anyway, we've got past Carlos Sainz, as he was a little bit displaced going out of the corner, and now we're going to have a go at Yuki Tsunoda in the other Williams, and Tsunoda is right there for the taking. However, he's probably thinking about Charles Leclerc, and Tsunoda goes to cover. He also thinks about setting it on Leclerc. Tsunoda getting quite aggressive on defence, not able to do it there, so we're having to rethink how we attack Yuki Tsunoda. And it's going to be on the straight, it's going to be with DRS, and we're going to try and send it down the inside. And Tsunoda doesn't really have a fight for that, as we move now into P9, and Charles Leclerc in 8th is dead ahead. Right, will I make that pit stop time? No, okay, no pit stop time here, as Carlos Sainz is having a go at us, and Carlos Sainz is getting past us, and we're passing Carlos Sainz back. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. There's contact there as we go wheel to wheel in the centre S. Sainz getting desperate to force the issue. However, he's not able to do so. And Tsunoda now coming back at Carlos Sainz. Sainz going quite deep and dropping momentum there as we were able to gain it. Meanwhile, now it's time for a pit stop. Maloney is ahead of us, and it's Charles Leclerc that's just ahead in the other half. So we might have to deal with Zane Maloney holding us up to help his teammate. It's been a nightmare season for Maloney, hasn't it? He's really just been languishing at the back all by himself. It's not worked out for him at all. I wonder how he still has a seat in that half. Right, catching up to Charles Leclerc. Are we going to be able to get past him? It's going to be difficult because he's on fresh mediums. I'm on fresh hards. We both pitted together, so at the moment, the medium tyre is going to have an advantage, but it will come to the hards towards the end of the Grand Prix when their mediums just stop feeling quite as good as once they felt. And we're not really making any further gains in this race. The only driver we're really making a gain on is Charles Leclerc, and that gap is now 1.3 seconds, and we are starting to push closer to him as this race draws to its conclusion. We're on lap 31 out of 36, and we're just starting little by little to eat into that gap of Charles Leclerc in front, and we're really starting to catch up to the Haas. Can we do it? We've got just a few laps to go. Leclerc quite slow on this lap. He seems to be struggling a little bit now with these tyres, and we've got overtake at our disposal. We've got DRS this time round. This should be a candy from a baby overtake here, as Leclerc, he goes to cover, but we're pretty much through before the corner, although Leclerc breaks later and fights us off a little bit, and Leclerc still fighting it there as he holds on to P8, but we're now going to use the second straight to blast past. Leclerc goes to the left to defend, but simply brake later. Sweep round. P8 is ours for the taking, and that is where we have moved up to, and Sainz and Tsunoda are still having their scrap in this Grand Prix. As we now begin the last lap, we have pulled away from Leclerc. Sainz has also gained on him, so Leclerc definitely with an issue. Hamilton and Gasly look like they're getting close. I wonder if they're going to have a fight. But from P16 to P8, not too shabby. I would have liked maybe a couple more positions, but I think I'll happily take P8. We spent the entire second half of the race hunting down Charles Leclerc, and eventually we got past him. He is, however, nursing some kind of gremlin. Oscar Piastri wins the Brazilian Grand Prix, but for us, it's going to be P8. It's going to be a few more points. I'll happily take it. Our total point score from the weekend, 6 points. Not bad for a weekend's work.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And an award-winning day for Oscar Piastri as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
On a day where the championship leader, Lando Norris, scored no points, Oscar Piastri came, saw, and maximised the opportunity by grabbing the race win. Valtteri Bottas is second, completing a magnificent 1-2 for McLaren. Alonso sits pretty in third, with Russell and Sainz 4th and 5th. Hamilton and Gasly 6th and 7th. We are 8th, Leclerc in 9th, and Sainz bags a point for Williams in 10th. Unlike qualifying where we left performance on the table, I really feel like we maximised this race today. And look at that championship lead now. Just 2 points separating Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Piastri making a big stride towards taking the title. Bottas third, 11 points off. It is a 3-horse race moving into the last few races of this championship. Who do you think is going to take it? Verstappen and Russell are just dropping back now. Alonso in 6th, Perez 7th, Ware 8th, and then it's Leclerc and Hamilton completing the top 10. But McLaren are really running away with it in the Constructors. Well, thank you for watching this instalment of F1 24 Career Mode. Don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe if you're new and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe. TTFN, ta-ta for now, take care, and I'll see you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.